quick review on the National Theatre Live's production of Yerma.
Notte pude vara soltera
We used to have a life.
Now we have each other.
The insidious, venomous slither of life.
I want to have a child with you.
Everything's up!
This is probably one of the weirdest shows I've seen, but that is honestly a compliment to the show. The show stars Billie Piper in the lead role of Woman. Yeah, I actually checked. That is her name in the show. It's just Woman. If that ain't a generalized name or what. The show is an adaptation of an old play brought to light stage in a more modern sense. Though granted, we only see parts of the modern sense. I think what they were doing with the adaptation was they were trying to make it more understandable for a modern audience. Though still, it's very hard to understand sometimes. Like, really, really hard. The story is about a woman, played by Billie Piper in this version, trapped in a constant conflict between her sense of honestness and uh, ideals, which are for her husband and her family, and her want for a child. Now, this conflict is very prevalent throughout the show, but what I like about this conflict is it doesn't start out obvious. Now, that may be a bit of a weird sentiment, but. And also with the trailer that also was here, parts of the trailer or clips I shown you from the trailer that show how crazy this thing is. It may not seem obvious that it's subtly woven through the show, but it is. It really is. Throughout the entire show, we see the woman. Still weird not being able to call her a character name just because she's called a woman. But honestly, someone raised a good point that this could be because it's just being a generalization of every woman's experience if they can't have a child. However, with that ending, I'm sort of going, wow, if that's the case, I'm so sorry to anyone who has to go through that. But yeah, throughout the show, it's subtly woven that the woman is starting to lose her mind to this idea that she can't have a child. And even more subtly throughout the show, we see the people she loves the most grow distant from her, and her starting to lose her affection for them. There's a really heartbreaking point in the show where we find out the woman's sister loses her baby, well, her second baby, and the woman wished that she would lose it. And this is sort of demonstrating how far her mind has gone into wanting a baby, but also hating anyone who can get one instead of her. And it's really depressing. Like, I implore you to watch this show, but bear in mind, this show is depressing. In all capital letters. Now, I understand. The other thing I find very interesting about the show is how much it skips forward. Like, it keeps jumping between time periods, but it doesn't jump back. It always goes forward. And it's always a good chunk of time. And I kind of like that. It sort of shows how quickly time flies in this sort of mind frame of stuff going on. Now, is there stuff I didn't like about the show? Not really. I mean, the only thing I could say I didn't like was the constant time skips. Like, it feels like you're finally getting into the crux of a conversation, and then it just skips in some points. But I kind of think that's also the point. Like, it's demonstrating how even when you start to get into the crux of a conversation, it'll just jump forward. It'll feel like it was only just a blip, the conversation. I also like this, like, but yeah, I like the show. I think it was a really good show. In my opinion, it was a solid, I'd say, you know what, 9.5 out of 10, because that little thing I said. But still a really good show. I highly recommend it. If I was to have to give it a star rating, I'd say 4.5 stars. What the hell? A lot of the stuff in here is great. It is amazing to dive deep into, so I'd recommend you do that.
A children's bedroom.